Hi everyone, welcome to my channel Solar Hypnotherapy and Tarot. My name is Kirsten, and I have another, I guess, Trump related reading. I'm using the Deviant Moon Tarot today and the Sibylla Indivina. Hold on. So you can see the box, Sibylla Indivina. Today's reading is complicated. I've been struggling with everything going on with George Floyd and Ahmaud Arbery and all the other issues, and why there's a movement right now, and black people in the streets and white people in the streets, and the chaos that's embroiled in all of that, with people who aren't what they are, who aren't who they say they are, who are using the movement to sow discord for nefarious purposes or for their own agendas. And it's all been so much. And then we have the COVID too, that it scares me, because my people are out there and everybody's out there, and I'm glad that they're out there, and definitely if you're going to be out there, you're out there for a good, righteous cause and reason. But it's still not safe to be congregated in so many ways, that so closely with each other. So I'm worried about all that. So coming up with a reading for the last couple of weeks has been hard. The secret police force that Trump is trouting around Washington is quite alarming to me, quite shocking to me. It's got me very alarmed and worried. And that is his intention. But it should have people in the streets for that reason, as well as the snuffing out of human life on camera has put people in the streets. You need to get in the streets for your democracy, because it has been under attack. There is a takeover taking place, and nobody is doing anything. Okay, that's why I'm so alarmed. So, questions that I wanted to ask the cards today was really so many. And I tried to do the secret police reading yesterday, but I was just getting smog. I wasn't getting clear reading. So this morning I was thinking, what do I want to read on? Well, Tim Scott is bothering me, the senator, this Republican black senator, and how he is voicing his support still for Trump, and that makes me so angry. Any black person, self-respecting black person, in my opinion, I cannot fathom where you are at in your head or in your mind in your support of Trump and this administration. And I wanted to look into the cards to see why Tim Scott supports Trump and why he hasn't denounced him. And I don't like to attack or come at my people, even if I know they're doing wrong. I don't want to be one of those people who does that. There's enough people attacking my people. I don't want to be one of those people, you know. But I'm gonna look at the cards on Tim Scott today and tell you what I see. Now, in doing this reading, in sounding it out, because you guys know I like to come here with a reading that is understandable and that flows. I read in layers, and I try to organize my thoughts before I present them to you. And I think that is my style. I read the cards more like an astrologer reads your chart. They don't ask you what your date of birth is and your hour of birth and where you were born and then tell you your future. No, an astrologer has to study your chart. They study your chart and they study the connections. And then you come back and they present you with your reading and how you can overcome certain challenges and based on the law of astrology. And I feel I'm presenting to you guys tarot in that manner. Okay, that's my style. So I'm not always the fastest reader. You may not get as many readings as you want to get from me as you get from other readers. But I feel like the readings that you get from me are quality readings. They usually come to pass. I have a strong accuracy rate. And I just wanted to put that on the table. So this reading is about Tim Scott, but it also turned into a reading about the secret force, police force that Trump has, because I've been musing about these questions all week, and I haven't been able to formulate the right questions to the cards, and thus I've been coming up with just murkiness. But today, once I made a decision to read about Tim Scott, the other questions are coming out too. So I feel like the time frame of this is probably within the next month or so. It may take longer to play out. But I feel like this is a reading that becomes another reading as we go on, okay? All right, Tim Scott. I'm trying not to attack you, Scott. I'm going to call you Scott because if I call you Tim, I might put Uncle in front of it. And I don't want to call you Uncle Tim yet. I'm going to look into these cards. So we have the Strength reversed. So what I like about this card, this deck is that there's such strong contrast of white and black, and so we can just get right down to it. I felt like this is the right deck to use for race relations. So he's got the Strength, but he's got it reversed. So Strength reversed is an issue of strength, willpower, character, and struggles and temptations, right? Self-mastery, but reversed. You're losing those struggles. You're not showing a lot of character. You're showing weakness. You're not being strong. You're not being brave. You're taking the coward's way out, or you're backing down from a fight. You're succumbing to temptation. Right? This card tells me that Tim Scott lacks strength to make better choices. Lovers reversed. Let me just give you the card names. We've got the Strength reversed, the Nine of Cups, Lovers reversed, Star reversed, Three of Pentacles, Seven of Swords reversed, the Seven of Cups, the Six of Swords, and the Knight of Swords, and finishing off with the the Page of Pentacles. Okay. So for Tim Scott, this is an issue and an event where strength comes into play, and you lack that strength, you lack that confidence, you lack that backbone to make this fight. He's succumbed to temptations Seven of Cups can be temptations. The Lovers reverse can be temptations. Says that he's a soldier for his party. He's a soldier for his party, for this Republican Party, this conservative party here. He's a soldier for his party, but not for blacks. He feels there should be enforcement against the protesters, against this movement, right? And he has some kind of assumption that Trump's power will last, or that his party's power will last, and thus his power will last. Says they're under the assumption that the power will last. With the Nine of Cups here, says that Scott has received a lot. He's received a lot. It's the Nine of Cups. A lot, and a lot of promises and wishes. He's received a lot, and he's received a lot of promises that his wishes will be met and come true. And this is the temptation. This is the deal. That his ambitions would be granted. I'll let you rub the lamp, the genie's lamp, and get your wish fulfilled. Your wish is met. As long as you let Trump and the Republican Party rub your black head. Rubbing the head of a black man or a black child is very demeaning for blacks. It's understood, or they understand, white people have this understanding or this feeling or whatever, that if you rub the black head, rub a black, especially a black boy's head, that it will bring you luck. So in the black culture, we don't like white people to touch our head. At least as I was raised, don't let white people touch your head, because that's what they're doing. And so I always had that guard up. And that's what's behind that. You know, especially young black men, don't let them touch your head. Well, he gets to rub the lamp as long as they get to rub the head. Okay? They're rubbing his head, Trump and this Republican Party, and that's demeaning for him, and it's demeaning for blacks. And it's metaphorical. This is the metaphorical message that I'm sharing with you. A Lover's reversed. Why this is all happening? I do feel he had a dilemma. You know, he had a choice and decision to make that he struggled with, but that he didn't win. He didn't win that struggle. Lover's reverse says that his choice won't bring him true fulfillment, right? This is love making. This is just fucking. His choice won't bring him true fulfillment. And the love of his party, the love that his party shows him, is only a superficial one. It's not mutual. Feelings aren't mutual in this card. The feelings aren't mutual. They can't get past the differences. Look at the white and the black. They can't get past the racial difference, even with him. They always see the imbalance or an unbalance. They always see an unequal relationship. They don't see him or the black race or people of color as equal. Okay, and they just cannot get past the differences. But Scott has made the decision, Tim Scott has made the decision for the purpose of instant gratification to get his wish fulfilled. Tells me that he sees this movement as with ambivalence, and so does Trump. Okay, this card is Trump's card as well as Tim Scott's card. This is where the reading starts to change and Trump becomes involved. This is the card of the Gemini. I'm still reading Scott, but I'm also reading some of Trump's feelings, alright? It's all fused in, okay? So just follow the best you can. Both Scott and Trump are making decisions based on the purpose of instant gratification, right? His feelings about the movement, both men, right? Both men, is one of ambivalence. Next to this card of confession, the Seven of Swords reverse. This is a card of someone who has confessed to their crime or who is understood as guilty of the crime, a con artist, a deceitful liar. And it's known, right? So, his ambivalence to what Trump is doing and Trump's aggression and secret police and use of the military and the law enforcement, he's ambivalent to all that. He sees it. He knows the truth. He sees it. But he's made his choice. He's made his decision. It's talking a little bit right here about the whole, when the looting starts, the shooting starts comment. It says that he doesn't agree with Trump about that comment. He's struggling with that. He's struggling. Tim Scott is struggling with that. Looting equals shooting comment. He doesn't agree with that. Maybe he told Trump that he doesn't agree with that. But he did it very sidesteppishly, if he did it at all. It tells me that he's not saying it in a direct manner. He's saying it in a very nuanced way. So he can say he said it. And so Trump can read into it whatever Trump wants to read into it. He says he's not saying it directly enough. He's showing willingness and cooperation with Three of Pentacles. To having this military presence towards this movement, the Black Lives Matter movement and this march, and all that it stands for. He is required to say yes to Trump's actions, to Trump's whatever Trump is communicating. He's required to say yes, right? That's part of the deal, you know. That's the lantern rub the head agreement. He has to go along with it so he can get his rewards and his promotions promised. But the cards say he will not get fulfillment of the promise. Okay, it's all bullshit, Mr. Scott. It's all bullshit. Oh, yeah, these people. Why would you believe the liar? All right. Now we're going to go to the Star card here. Star reversed. Star reversed tells me that, and this card's supposed to be here. Now I'm trying to keep these cards out of the way until I'm ready for them, because these are clarifiers. I'm not quite ready for them yet. I want you to see the tarot. So that's why I keep moving the cards around. And I don't want to forget where they laid either. So the Star reverse is tells me that Tim Scott lost his way a long time ago, and this battle, this struggle with his this fight for his race, or fight for his individual self, this temptation to have his wishes fulfilled, he lost this battle a long time ago. He says that he's whitewashed. And I'm not trying to say that he doesn't know he's black. He knows he's black. He knows he's black. But he doesn't acknowledge the barrier of being black. Which in a way is good, because you know what you think is what you get. So he's not acknowledging that barrier of being black by not making that his focus. He sees himself as a human being in the human race, fighting for his ambitions to be fulfilled and to climb up the ladder. And I can respect and understand that consciousness, but he's lost sight of the truth that he's a spiritual being before he's a physical being, and he is part of a soul group or a soul family of the black race, and he has lessons to learn. He has an involvement, a part of that race. He's supposed to help evolve that race. We're all supposed to evolve our race family. That's another level of lessons that we're supposed to be learning spiritually, and he's ignoring that. Okay, Seven of Swords, reverse. And I don't think he gets that he is black. First, he's an individual, and then he's black, and then he's part of this human race. But let me say that again. He's human, he's an individual. So we're all part of the human race, right? But there's categories like the Russian dolls within dolls within dolls. All right? And that's just the way it is. I don't know why, but that's what I'm picking up. Now, when you're evolved, you go straight to, it's everything, and so maybe he thinks he's evolved that way, but he hasn't learned his soul group lesson. That's what I get from this card. Now, you may interpret it differently. That's what I get. So he willingly cooperates with his party. This is the Conservative Party. He feels he is building a better future for himself. I wanted to say, and for the country, but I can't. Because he knows that a house divided against itself cannot stand. Everybody knows that. And if you read the Bible, these so-called evangelical Republicans, they know that the Bible says a house divided against itself cannot stand. Everybody knows that when there's divisiveness in the country is weak. And you can't force unity. You can't force harmony. There has to be compromise. There's no compromise with this president. It's either you're with me or you're against me. Right? The black race has said, we're against you, Trump. Tim Scott is with you. He feels he's building a better future for himself. But he knows the truth. Seven of Swords reverse tells me he knows the truth about Trump. He knows Trump is a liar and a con and a scam artist and a thief and a cheat. And he knows the Republican Party suppresses the black vote and will cheat. He knows. He knows. So there's no excuse for Tim Scott. And he knows that his party can't get past the racial differences. He knows that they are abusing their power. Yet he has made the decision, the bad decision, to go along with this, to cooperate with this. And I see Trump spitting out even more stupid shit, more, maybe a racial slur. There's definitely going to be some aggressive moves made by Trump very soon, very fast, very soon. And you will see this party's boy, this party's black boy, the Page of Pentacles. This party's tool, if you will, communicate and extend himself to defend the bullshit and to defend Trump and Trump's actions, which are going to be, I think, a little shocking, very shocking coming up. All right. Because Scott is under the illusion with this Seven of Cups that he won't lose power, or Trump won't lose power, the party won't lose power, that they will defend him and promote him as he has defended and promoted them. Dude, do you remember O.J. Simpson at all? It says that Scott thinks that blacks are too emotional, all caught up in this movement without understanding. And not being rational in their expression or approach. Too aggressive. And that needs to be controlled by force. So he's conflicted. I mean, I see him struggling with what Trump is doing with his secret force. Maybe that has him a bit alarmed. I think they're all kind of alarmed by that. But at the same time, he's going along with the narrative that the movement has gotten aggressive, and but that's a created narrative. That's not the truth. It says the movement is peaceful. This is a peaceful movement, a movement towards peace. So he thinks that blacks are too emotional and not being rational in their expression or approach, and that justifies the need for enforcement over the movement. And he's very confused and is painting confusing stories for others by the way he is speaking out. He is telling lies or passing on the same lies and misinforming on behalf of Trump. He doesn't see the situation changing nor getting any better, and that would be, racial equality. In his heart, he doesn't feel it will ever change. He feels the movement isn't going to change anything, especially if we don't go about it in a more effective, more legalized manner, and that we will fail. So why be a part of that? And it says Trump is telling him lies too. Trump is telling him lies. And the cards are beginning to tell me that there's some kind of deceit involved in the creating of this movement. So it was somehow created, and that scares me, because I've been so reluctant to see the depravity and the evil of Trump and this party, and how far and how low they will go. Normal people aren't this depraved. Normal people don't look right at the camera and keep the knee on the neck and show all their inhumanity and cruelty up close. But this party is beginning to do that. They're showing their real ugliness. And I still don't want to see it. But there's some sort of fabrication and creation of this movement, and so I have to wonder, was George killed on purpose or deliberately? Are they trying to start this race war for the purpose of dividing the country? And what does that serve? Now we've got kind of getting off Tim Scott and we're getting into the other agenda here. But guys, I don't know if I'm smart enough or tuned in enough to answer these questions right now. I'm just identifying to you my own confusion and my own fears. Okay? Trump is telling him lies too. And I see deceit involved, right? I'm just reading you the cards now. Created in creating this movement. Obstacles and people who are deliberately creating obstacles to the peaceful evolution of the march and its purpose. So there are people in place deliberately causing the mayhem and deliberately placed there to cause the mayhem. And then I see in the police enforcement, but also people who are on the attack. And these white supremacists deliberately causing obstacles to prevent the peaceful evolution of this movement or march. Create for the purpose of showing a brute strength and force with Trump's police and with the army, his secret army, his SS, if you want to call it that, because Trump's got his own SS. Right, headed by Barr, with his malicious soft tone of talking, his little casual tone of paternal talking, right, as he sticks the knife in your back, ever so slowly and gently, right? Fucking Barr is sinister. Barr is sinister, guys. Ooh, Barr and Pompeo, they're as bad as Trump. And every part of me doesn't want to even look at this. Doesn't want to read this, you know? Because it's hard for me to process this kind of evil. But this is for the purpose of showing Trump's brute strength, a show of force. This that the enforcement, law enforcement, that the police, that the military is behind him. But that's a lie. This is telling us that that's a lie. He doesn't have their full cooperation, but he is trying to con us that he does. He's trying to con them, because he's got strategic men in place who are in charge of them, giving his unlawful orders to them, right? And their duty is to follow orders, right? So through that con of these strategic men placed to carry out his unlawful orders, he's hoping that the military will just go along. But to his surprise, the retired military general speaking out, and letting the military and law enforcement know, and the country know, that these are unlawful tactics and orders on Trump's part and on Barr's part. Is destroying the confidence and is weakening Trump. Okay? Now we're kind of off Tim Scott and we're into Trump land here. But Trump wants us to know that this secret force, this SS, if you will, his secret soldiers, unidentified soldiers, are under his command. They're at his beck and call. They're faithful and loyal to him. They call him master. See the dog here licking the hand? They call him master. Wow. Jeez. and that this secret force includes military officers of the law and white supremacists, and they're all loyal to him at his beck and call. To his contrary displeasure, and to ex-military contrary displeasure, these military commanders have spoken out quite strongly and quickly. But not quick enough, as far as I'm concerned. Not quick enough. You know, you guys allowed this to happen. The Republican Party is completely responsible for this whole Trump fiasco. The Republican Party and the senators, the congressmen, they're completely guilty of allowing this to happen. Trump would have had no power without them going along with it, and they all cooperated in it. They're all guilty. They're all guilty. But contrary to displeasure of the military commanders, the former military commanders, they don't like it, and but they don't have the power to really do anything about it, because they did the appropriate thing and resigned. Now they have no power to do anything about it except speak up. Right? And now it's up to individuals, the little man, to make right decisions. And at least that's what they're communicating to them, that, you know, you don't have to follow unlawful orders. You're trained to not follow unlawful orders. You're being given unlawful orders. And I do feel Trump will be giving an unlawful order in the very near future. They're going to have to decide, these individual soldiers, in their diminished roles, right? And they don't have any authority. They have to make the decision, the right decision. Do we carry out these immoral acts for this immoral president? Trump has these men in strategic positions, Esper and Barr and Pompeo. They're all in strategic positions, these corrupt judges, all loyal to him, right? But he doesn't really have full command and cooperation of the military and the officers. That's an illusion, right? If they can get them to buy the illusion, to buy the suggestion that they're just following orders like they're supposed to, they can carry off this trick. They can carry it out. But they have to be able to, they have to get them to buy the illusion. Right? And that's why the Mattis and Kelly are speaking out now. So back to Scott. He thinks that, and I think he tells Trump and the party, right, as the one speaking for the blacks, that this will all pass, this movement will pass, it will die down. Gradually it will die down, especially right after the last funeral for George Floyd. Then this movement will gradually pass and die down. Maybe that's his hope or his wish, but he knows what Trump is capable of and what Trump is planning to do. They all know. They're all feigning this lack of understanding, that they don't know what Trump is doing. And they're not taking a definitive position on it. They're trying to carry out some kind of illusion. So he thinks that, Tim Scott thinks that this will all pass for him as well, right? He hopes that he can move past this as well, because he's their poster boy. He's their party's boy, right? And he speaks on behalf of the blacks, right? And he's hoping he can move past all this, that maybe we'll forget, you know. But this card is telling you, Tim, I'm not going to be rude and call you what I want to call you. This card is telling you, wherever you go, there you are. Wherever you go in this big, big world, no matter how far or how high up you go, you're always going to be black on this earth and in this country. And this will follow you, and Trump will burst your bubble. He will leave you hanging. It says your promises will be unfulfilled. And when you fall from this high heights, will your family, will black people still support you? Well, I guess that remains to be seen. We still supported OJ. But some people never learn. Some people never learn. I feel like there's going to be more aggression against the Black Lives Matter movement, or even more police aggression. Which is not the end of this secret force at all. I feel like Trump is waiting for some kind of message. And I think it has something to do with like subpoenas against Obama's administration. Trump has very insulting names that he calls Obama. But with the secret force here, I feel like there's a lot. I think I've said it already, and I just want to say it again. We have to be mindful, the public has to be mindful, that not all military and not all police officers are in on this scam, this illusion, this lie. They're not all supportive of Trump, okay? And it's very murky right now, because the illusion and the narrative is that they are. It presents that narrative, but they're not all, okay? It's just a small part. And they can only win if everybody buys into the idea that they are part of it. This card tells me that Trump knows that he can't win the election. He knows that he can't win. He can't make this movement pass any faster than it will pass. It will do what it needs to do. He can't force it. He knows he can't win in a fair fight. And that the odds are against him unless he takes his win by force. So this message card is saying, with the chatterers, that Trump is sending right now a message with this secret force that as a scare tactic. Okay, it's a scare tactic. But it's also a rehearsal. It's also a dress rehearsal for the real thing. His party is advising him against it, but because they know what he's doing, they know it's a bad decision, and his party is advising him against it. But Trump is rash and impulsive, and I see him making the bad choice and decision in the future. But right now, where does the card go? Right now, he's waiting. Waiting for the right time to make his move. Right? And he's eagerly awaiting some information coming out. And I think it has to do with subpoenas against Obama's administration. So that's your reading for today, guys. I hope that you found it enlightening and troubling. And we got you in the streets. Now you need to demand that this president be taken out. And why is he building a fortress around the White House, guys? Why does he have secret police? Why is he building a fortress around the White House? Okay, that's my next reading. We're just going to do that one only. But I hope that this gave some people some understanding of where Tim Scott's coming from. Right? It's okay to be a human being in the human race, but you know, human beings are black, are white, Mexican, Indian, Asian. You have that experience too. That's part of the human experience, is being of a different race, and the lessons involved in that. And you can't escape that, bruh. You can't escape that. And wherever you go, it's going to follow you. And the things that you do now, remember Omarosa, forever stained by bad choices. Speak out for the right thing. Money isn't everything. Speak out right now, Tim Scott. Denounce this president as a racist and a liar. And you will find yourself carried forward by better people into a better place for your soul. Okay? That's all I have to say. Thanks for tuning in.